Okay, so today we are going to talk about the scamper method. Now, so in our last lecture, we had talked about one more functional, that is the concept development method, which was functional decomposition. And then there was other concept development method which brought us near to a finished concept. It was morphological study. Now, there is another concept development method, or I should say, the idea generation method. So, idea generation comes before the concept generation, and we cluster different ideas together like sticky notes to create one full concept. Now, Scamper is simply different ways of thinking. As you have guessed, Scamper is actually an abbreviation. S stands for substitution, combination, adaptation, modification, put to other use, eliminate, and reverse. So these are just different ways of thinking about solving the problem. As we have talked before, also, it's very difficult to just rely on motivation when you are trying to solve a problem. Sometimes you are motivated, sometimes you are not. Sometimes you are just tired, but the deadlines don't wait. So these frameworks help us in not relying on our human senses and rather go by certain methods which have helped before in improving efficiency and meeting the deadlines. So scamper system. So let me just go about it first of all in short, and then we are going to go through these slides about that. The here we are going to go deeper into how uh, these things are different. Okay, so many people find it difficult in differentiating between all of these methods. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 ways of thinking. Some some of the methods merge into the other. It's very differentiate to how these things are different. It's very difficult to judge that. Students find it very difficult. See, these methods are very difficult to grasp, and these things require a lot of practice to get used to these things and actually utilize this. So, if you know, that is, you can buy a motorbike very easily, but to be able to use that effectively, it takes a lot of practice. Similar to that, you have a tool here which is used to generate many concepts and break out of the box and different in many different ways. Think of your problem in many different ways, generate good output. But that requires you to get used to this and practice using this method on different ideas and some existing products. You use that on some existing examples and think of how the scamper is utilized in improving that product. Some of this we are going to see this in some of these products. So by using these case studies, we will be able to judge how scamper is used and what aspects of scamper is used in that. Okay, so S means substitution. That is, you're substituting one part of it by something else. Okay, so one example of this you can think of is how a light bulb was improved over time. So here we are substituting different products for the same need. So there will be time when the need itself has changed. There will be those times where the need has changed but the product has remained the same. That is, you're bringing one product from one domain to the other domain, so it can serve some other purpose, but the product more or less remains the same. Okay, so that is also one way of thinking. So a substitution, so initially only candlelight was there, and before you had wax, there were just oil and a wick. Okay, after that candle came, then your incandescent bulbs came into picture in the early 90s, in the early part of 19th century. Then CFL came, compact fluorescent lamp. So before this, you had large fluorescent lamps also. Some of the light tube or the tube light, which it was usually called. Now nowadays you have the LED tubes, LED tubes, right? So before, so after that, your CFL came. That is before the LED tubes. The CFL lamp came, and this was used. These days, the latest technology is LED. Okay, light emitting diode. There are many light emitting diodes inside, and then you cover it with a plastic diffuser casing. So if you open the diffuser casing, that is this white plastic, you will be able to see that there are different small lights inside. Okay, and what this does is simply spread the light and diffuse the light, so you see a uniform sphere. So here essentially what we have done is replace the product, but that is change the product to serve the same need. Okay, change one part or completely the product itself. So if you can see here, not completely all the components are removed. This adapter remains the same, the screw adapter. So the new product has to fit in the same, that is, use the same adapter so it can be used without much modification in the home. Here, what is really important to us is the purpose which our product has to fulfill, and what does it require, that is, what exactly the user require. All of these things need to be understood: the user, the market, and the product which is already existing, how you can make it better. So design more or less is a philosophy which takes time. So all of these methods, the design methods, need to be practiced for you to be able to effectively utilize these methods to create anything different. All of these things have to be, all of these methods have to come into your subconscious and need to be practiced to be able to be used anywhere, or else these are just some things to be remembered and clear your exams based on whatever you have remembered. Okay, the next option is combination. Join elements, ideas, and functions. That is, these do not have to be utilized. See, this method, the scamper, it doesn't have to be utilized only for physical product. It can be used for services also. It can be used to solve some of the problems which you are facing in real life. That is, not not solving anyone else's problem but your own problem also. So these are just different ways of thinking which can be used on the problem at hand. Okay, so this example you can see the combination how the knife has combined different uses. Okay, another example of this which everyone can relate to is a cell phone. So the cell phone has combined the reading. You don't require books uh, anymore. You can download the books on your cell phone and read those. How better these are, these better or not, how better you can utilize the new medium is a different thing. But you have a way now, you have a different way of satisfying the need or fulfilling the need which was there before, which is reading. Other common use is talking to people on the cell phone, that is communication with someone else. Other method is a watch which you already have in your cell phone. So again, these are a good this is a good use of it or not, it's a different debate. Another example is your SUV. So people needed to go for off-roading, that is on the weekends, slight off-roading, uh, and they also needed a vehicle for the streets. So the manufacturers have combined both, and they have uh, created this segment which is SUV, sports utility vehicle. You can find this is pretty common and easier way to develop products. That is, if you are doing your academic assignments or your bachelor's or master's in design, uh, then this will be an easier assignment compared to the other ones which require you to further go down deeper and research. Now, other one more way of thinking is adaptation. So here, like your substitution method, you are not completely or more or less changing the whole product. You are just adapting it. Okay. So remember, in adaptation, what we are doing is adaptation of existing product to a new purpose. Okay. So we are changing the shape. So in this example, you can see the train used to be flat at the start. Okay. Then this shape is adapted, and this shape is adapted from the nature, that is the kingfisher beak. Okay, which has resulted in the improvement of the product. So what we try to do is we derive the ideas from other domains and see how others have solved the problem in other domains and incorporate that idea in our current product. That is, use that idea to solve our problem. So here you have to understand that we are not thinking of substituting the product here. So we have not thought of in this example of that much radical idea that we are not going to use the train itself now. We are going to use the plane. So the things are not that radical here. Okay, remember that we can use different ideas like this, that is substitute idea, combine idea, and adapt idea. Okay, these are nothing but different uh, idea ideas of generating concepts or generating new ideas. So I cannot call that idea, otherwise idea uh, to generate idea, this is a bit confusing. So I can say that we are generating concepts based on these ideas which are given to us. by this method, Scamper. Okay, so we are not substituting the product at this point, we are merely adapting it. One more example you can think of is a braille, which blind people use for reading. So we have not replaced the book with a cell phone or with a tablet. We have merely adapted the book and modified the book for uh, that is using the tactile functions, the touch capability which the blinds have uh, in the book, which is conventionally available in a conventional book. One more example is of adaptation is book translation. So literally you can see in books that the other authors write, this is adapted uh, from so and so book to a new system of units, or for a different audience, maybe simplifying the book which is already existing to uh, the new user. That is, you might have seen there is this series, the from Tata Macro Hill Company. They have this For Dummies series, and you can see something like this. Okay, for dummies. So computers for dummies or coding for dummies, something like that. Okay, so the idea is adaptation of the product to a new set of user or a new set of problem which is to be solved. The next way of thinking is not adaptation, it is to make it smaller, larger, or change its shape. Remember that this sort of thinking framework, the Scamper, can be applied for a product, a process also. Okay, there was one more thing. I think product, process, or way of doing things, that again means process. So a product or a process. So what you do is magnify, make it smaller, make it larger. So in the early days, Sony Walkman came, and before this, the tape recorders and players used to be larger. This is of the days where radios used to be there. Okay, and they had one more segment where you could insert this cassette into this radio. So this is a radio come a cassette player. Now, when Sony came, they introduced the Sony Walkman, which took the market by storm. So they had compacted this a lot based on the new technology or new method, and it was really effective. Okay, so this is a method in which you are magnifying or minifying it. Remember that multiple aspects of Scamper can be used, different ways of thinking. In fact, the more the better. That is, you can design a new product by combining some features from existing product, by using combination, that is by using the combine feature, and also by using the magnifying or minifying feature, that is the minifying feature, make it more compact and make it more functional. Okay, so one example which comes to our mind, and it's very common, is our cell phone. Again and again you can use the cell phone and utilize almost, you can see that it's using every almost every aspect of Scamper. Another uh, after your M comes the P, which is put to other use. Okay, so here what is happening is you are bringing the product from one domain, slightly modifying it, and then using it in another domain. So this is a shipping product, the shipping container from the shipping industry, and this you are using in the housing industry. Okay, you are using it for cafes, schools, and skyscrapers. So shipping containers can be repurposed and reused for this. So you're bringing one product from one domain to the other domain. You have to understand that in order to use any of these ideas of Scamper, you have to know the market and the user very well. In this example, you have to understand the new market very well, and how can you utilize some other product to solve the problem of current market. Put to other use again can be utilized for a cell phone or a tablet, which you can use for reading. Okay, so from the personal computer, uh, the idea of cell phone came into picture, right? So the computer used to be this big, and those used to use the CRT phones, the CRT monitors. After that, Mac came and they made it user friendly and compact, and slowly after the transistors came into picture, the things got even more better. And in the 90s the cell phones were this big. Okay, and slowly, and these used to have very basic screen, and from this after further improvement came our touchscreen phones. These used to be slightly bulkier at the start and used to have keypads, and now you can imagine what the cell phone looks like. Okay, so this is the example of put to other use. The PC is being used in for a different purpose, and cell phone is so the technology is slowly derived from the PC all the way to the cell phone. Many of the technology and the screen and everything came from the early PCs and television, and it's being used to in the other domain now. So multiple aspects of your of this example, uh, multiple aspects of Scamper has been used here. You can use put to other use, magnify, minify. Again, this has made smaller. Adaptation can be used, has been done here. Combination has been done. Substitution has been done. Okay, the initial phones used to be uh, like this one. Okay, you used to have a telephone receiver, right? Early days, it was you used to have this dial dial up connection phones, right? So you have done so almost all of this has been used in the cell phone. Eliminate E. Elimination means stripping the product down to for a specific user. Okay, so uh, so one of the product may have several features, but and that might be serving one particular market, but there may be one more market uh, which requires a specific feature from this product. Okay, so someone can just strip all the features away and just provide one particular uh, feature of the product. So one example of this is your car. That is, this is a self-balancing two-wheeled car. So there is this user. So these are not very popular. Uh, these have not been very popular. These were invented, I can say, in the early 2000s. These were already on the road, but somehow these have not gained traction, because generally people, majority of the crowd just want to have one sort of car which can solve all their problems, and this is not doing that job. And these are self-balancing, so obviously these are more expensive. So for the masses, this is not a popular choice. Okay, so what they did is they stripped all the other features and made the vehicle smaller and provided the features which really mattered for people. That is the air conditioning inside and the comfort. Okay, to create a new product. Another example which is good here is that is from this phone which we have these days. What this Amazon did is that they have introduced Kindle, right? There are these Kindle devices uh, which provide comfortable reading to an avid reader. This is a phone. So again, this is one example of the elimination, or you can say the adaptation also. So the new product, which is the Kindle, has been adapted from the phone. So the new features are brought into Kindle, which are derived from a cell phone. So you can say that your magnify minify has been used in this Kindle. The adaptation, it has already been used, and they have done substitution here, because in a phone or a tablet, things you can you can read, but some users do not appreciate that is, these are too distracting, so they have stripped things down. So again, they have used the elimination function. So one more, the last one is, that is reverse or rearrange, or just flip the script. Okay, turn the things upside down. So again, rethink, that is, think out of the box. You can also call it this one. Okay, just reimagine things, and do not stick to how the things have been done in the past. This is your reverse, that is, bring it upside down. So one example is what Henry Ford did in the assembly line, and what here you are doing. So if you can reimagine this transportation system which we have been using, we used to use horses, then we switched to early stage bikes or cycles, then we came down to cars and planes, and now these days we have flying cars. So here we have reimagined the ways things have been done, that is, thinking out of the box. You can see that here the substitution function has also been used of the scamper. Okay, some of the elimination function, some of the put to other use function has been used here in transportation. So if you can think of, so if you can, that is, if you have used almost all the things from the scamper to create your new product, that will has higher potential to turn the things upside down in the market, because that will be a completely new product. Okay, so the more the better here, not exactly, but this is also one more food for thought, one more way of thinking, that is it really better? Is using more of the features of scamper really better? That will depend on your reasoning, on how the product suits the new user better. Okay, so this will be the end of scamper. And remember that some of the examples we have used here, and think of as many products as you can and then apply scamper on it. So this is a good way of sharpening your skills with this tool, or this way of thinking of creating the new concepts. In subsequent lessons, we will focus on more ways to create, to generate ideas, and then create new products from that.